What's up, all you good fella fly guys? You know who it is, the cat in the hat, your resident fly guy, your chief architect, Michael Andrew of StarArchitects.com, here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to this styling thing. And welcome to another Discourse in Dress, some expressions for your ensemble and some sonnets for your style. Today we are going to be wrapping up our conversation when it comes to what's poppin' with polos. So I hope that you have checked out all of our week's videos. If you haven't, make sure that you go back and check those out. And we're going to be wrapping up the general information when it comes to polos. So we're going to talk about brief history of polos and its origination, as well as some fabrics that you should look out for. Now, when you're generally thinking about polos, I don't know about you, but I often always think about movement. I love the way that polos easily transition into different social spaces and that they're pretty comfortable when I'm doing so. So when you're putting on your polo, I want you to think about those different types of moves that you need to make throughout the day. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the origins of polo, then you may think that they came from Ralph Lauren, since they are just as synonymous as copying, or a copy machine is associated with the Xerox. But actually, polos originated in the 1800s in Manipur, India, where the Indian polo players were actually playing in some cotton shirts that had button-down collars. Now what happened was, when the English began to invade into India and started having more people from England go there, they started seeing all of these polo players playing with these button-down collars and thought that it was a really good look. So they brought the look back to England and it became a hit. Shortly thereafter, John E. Brooks, who was one of the Brooks brothers, came to England, saw that that look was really starting to take flight and take form in England, so he took the look back to America. That became known as the Oxford because it was a button-down collared shirt, and they still sell numerous amounts of those today. So the polo logo actually doesn't even have any origination with Ralph Lauren. It actually comes from a gentleman named Louis Lacy, who was a designer and polo player in Buenos Aires, and he used to wear lightweight polos with the polo embroidered on it, and that's where the polo logo came from. So you probably didn't even know that. Now, polos, again, aren't the polos that we think of today. So they were generally starched cotton shirts. They were long sleeve, and so while they were getting better and better, they still were a little constricting and weren't necessarily the most comfortable. And that wasn't until Rene Lacoste, a famous tennis player known as the alligator on the tennis court, began to develop a new, lighter weight, more stretchy and resilient type of fabric that would allow him to move better on the tennis court. So what he did was he decided to wear that shirt after he had designed it, updated it, and made sure that it worked for him, to the 1926 US Open. And when he won it, everybody wanted to be affiliated with the winner, so they started really checking into Lacoste shirts, and so it began to really take off. At one point, even President Eisenhower was captured wearing a Lacoste polo shirt while playing golf, and the brand really took off. So from there, a lot of different designers and manufacturers began to embroider their logos onto their polo shirts. Now, it wasn't until 1971, when Ralph Lauren actually came onto the scene, that he reintroduced the polo player being embroidered on as a logo for his brand. And from there, of course, we know that it took off, and he has become synonymous with the polo player. So those polos do have a deep and rich history. If you would like to know more about it, just leave me a comment in the comment box, and I'll definitely be happy to go deeper into that space. But this is just to give you a really good basis for where the polo actually originated from. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the different types of fabrics that you can wear. Now, a lot of people just think that polos only are going to be cotton polos, but that's not the case. You can wear several different types of polos and several different types of fabrics depending on your price point and also depending on what you're doing throughout the day. So there's basically 6 types of fabrics that you are going to wear when you're putting on your polo shirt. And they all have different functions, different benefits, and different detriments depending on how you're trying to move throughout the day. So the first one is blended fabrics. Now, blended fabrics are the types of fabrics that you're seeing the Walmart employees wear when they are helping you at the store, or the Best Buy people who are wearing those polos. They're generally reserved for uniforms. They are quick cost. They're easy to manufacture. Can get in, get out, and they're not really looking to be fashionable. They're just looking to reestablish the brand. So the thought process there is, as long as we can keep everybody uniformed, then we've accomplished our goal. So they're not really going to be anything of quality, and if you're seeing those at Walmart, I would recommend you going and saving a few more dollars so that you can get a better polo shirt. The second type of polo shirt is a performance polo, and these are going to be more beneficial for all the athletes. These are the shirts that you see a lot of coaches wearing when they are doing summer leagues. You'll see golfers wearing it, and this is because it's sweat resistant. They actually incorporate silver into the fabric so that it absorbs sweat better, and so it's very, very active, but it does have a very sporty feel to it. So unless you're really chilling and really comfortable, or you're playing a sport, the colors are going to be much brighter, and it's going to be a little over the top if you're not just out hanging out, and chilling with friends. So the fourth one is polyester. Now, you know how I feel about polyester. You know they don't get along. They always fighting and stuff, man. They just don't know what they want to do and how they want to do it. And while polyester has come a long way since its inception and beginning, it's still probably not the best fabric for you to wear. It is still relatively uncomfortable in relation to natural fabrics, and it usually has like a gloss on it. It doesn't wear well. It's not going to be something that you can keep for a long time, so it's just not really a quality investment. Now, the fourth fabric is silk. Now, a lot of people would think silk is a luxurious fabric. It's expensive. It's all these different types of wonderful things when it comes to wearing a polo, so that's what you should add to your wardrobe. But in actuality, silk, while it is luxurious and it looks wonderful, doesn't really have a whole lot of staying power. So when you get it and you get this silk knit piece, if it gets wet, i.e. you're sweating, then it shows up and it creates a whole lot of discoloration, and it doesn't really wear well on a long-term scale. So if you're trying to get a lot of work out of it, then it may be an investment that you're not going to see a high return on. But if you have a nice, well-established polo collection and you want to add some luxe into it, then silk is not a bad way to go. You can also look at doing some blends, some silk and linen blends or some silk cotton blends, if you want to still have that luxe type of look at a lower price point. So the next fabric we're going to talk about is actually linen. Now, linen is a great summer fabric if you are going to be stepping out, especially if you're in warmer climates. But when it comes to a polo, don't ever forget that a linen is going to be harder to get the wrinkles out of. So if you don't mind it being wrinkled, or you're not going to be self-conscious about you looking like you don't know how to iron, put an iron to your shirt, then you can definitely go with the linen polo. But the best and most affordable fabric that you can have is a cotton polo. And that is why it is such a great standard for men's classic wardrobes, because it's affordable. It's something that will give you some lasting staying power and will be beneficial to you. Now, bear in mind that when you are wearing cotton, it is going to fade the more that you wash it, but it is a good investment to make. And let's be honest, with the amount of polos that most people are buying, I'm sure you probably have quite a few in your wardrobe. You don't have to worry about the discoloration. You'll probably just go out and buy another polo if it does. And it's, again, still a great value, even if you're paying a higher dollar amount for those polos. So what are the differences when it comes to how polos are set up? Now, you probably heard somebody say, oh, I need a knit polo versus I need a woven polo. So you either want wovens or you want knits. And the difference primarily is the way that the pieces are constructed. So when it comes to woven patterns, what generally is happening is you have a loom and a piece that is going up, and then you have a piece that's going across. And so that creates a tighter weaving pattern for your shirts, which is going to add more structure, it's going to create more sustainability. But the difference between that and a knit is the knit is going to have gauges, and so that gauge will actually allow for much more ventilation and more breathability. So in the summertime, I prefer to wear knits over the woven polos, just because they're going to breathe more for me and be better. Now, if you are interested in the different types of knits that you can have, please make sure that you leave me some comments in the comment box below, and I'll be happy to go more in depth on the different types of knits that you can have when it comes to your polo shirt. But I don't want to overwhelm you. You know how I can be. I can be a little long-winded when I want to, so we're just going to kind of stick to the basics today. But like I said, leave me some comments if you are interested in learning more about the polos. So make sure that you leave me some comments in the comment box, first and foremost, telling me if you'd like to know more about the history and more about the different types of fabrics that you can wear when it comes to your polo. Don't forget to make sure that you give this a thumbs up if you found the information beneficial. Please make sure that you subscribe if you're feeling the vibe, and share this with some of your friends who are going to be stepping out this weekend, because you know some of these cats are going to be wearing some polos, and they could either be looking alright and go to good, or be looking good and need to go to great, because that's how you should be stepping out anyway. Because we know that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you should always dress to express. See you next week. Peace.